Hey everyone, I'm back and it's good to have you here with me as well. I know I took quite a bit of a break. I think our last stream was sometime in June or July of this year. It's been quite busy, but I'm back now and I'm likely to continue doing these. If you are watching, just let me know what you would prefer because I've kind of observed that people tend to really struggle with finding, content, finding topics, finding ideas, and they don't really have the time to, read the news each day, or maybe they just find it boring, or they find it difficult to kind of build that connection with what they, hear about, read about, and then, having to use that in the exam. So I've also been considering, not like right now, maybe, from January, because, we've got Christmas and stuff like that going on, that from January I most likely will do a weekly live stream, maybe over the weekend. I don't know. It's not sure yet, but if you have any ideas, I would love to hear from you. Just drop a comment down below. And while you're here, your support means a lot. So if you like any of the videos, not just this one, please make sure to like the videos that you enjoy so that more of these videos will show up in your stream as and when I do them. And also don't forget to subscribe, because really appreciate having this community here. There's about 1,050 of you that watch our videos, and I really appreciate that. So yeah, I'm planning to just kind of do, not really a discussion, but just to kind of go through, like once a day, maybe, once a week, maybe twice a week. I'll just kind of go through the news of the week and kind of not read them, but talk about how I feel about things, my ideas about, what's going on and things of that sort. It's just an idea, just a test, just an experiment. But if that is something that you would enjoy, just, leave a comment down below if there's anything you want me to modify so it's more useful to you. This will of course be something my students will refer to as well, because doing well in an English exam, it's not just about your exam skills. Ultimately, it's about your language skills as well. Really, that goes for any language, because I know I'm learning 4 languages right now, and being kind of aware of what's happening, not just being aware, but also being able to formulate your own opinions and express those opinions is important. So hopefully you'll find it useful. I'm not going to start that today, but probably 2 weeks from now, starting sometime in January. We'll start with once a week, and if you like it, if you enjoy it, we'll continue doing that. Maybe even twice a week. I could probably manage something of that sort. That being said, we're going to begin with this essay. It's been a while. This one's from earlier this week, well, not this week, Sunday. And here's a question. Many people argue that museums and art galleries should represent the nation's art as opposed to artworks from other countries. To what extent do you agree or disagree? Now, I know this is a topic a lot of you struggle with, and in fact, that's kind of why I chose this. Of course, it's pretty much my assistant that picks out the question and creates a document, and I get it. We don't really think about this before I write the essay. So everything you see, all the videos you see, it's all last minute. I just look at the question and that's it. I don't really think about, oh, do I like this question or not? Not, because that's exactly what's going to happen in the exam. You're going to get a question, you have no idea what it's going to be, but you have to create something entirely on the spot. So that's that. Oh, and by the way, if you're also looking to learn other languages, I'm not going to be teaching. I could, but I don't really want to do that right now. But I do have another channel. It's called Sure Score Languages. Has the same logo. I'm currently working on 4 languages, so I live stream all of my study sessions. So if you'd like to check that out, just you can go and do that as well. Especially if you're interested in French, because I'm doing French from scratch, and so this year I'm doing A1. I think in July 2023, I'll start an A2 course. So, if you are, if you're one of those people that's applying for a Canadian PR, I'm not doing it for that. I have no interest in immigrating. I'm just doing it for fun. I love learning languages. But if that is something that you're looking at, you might just want to follow along with the video series, because I have the textbook and everything. And you could easily just buy the textbook off Amazon or whichever website you use. You can even find, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, other ways of getting books. Yeah, you can, follow along, because course books tend to be, entirely in the target language. So a French course book is most likely to be entirely in French, which can be a bit of a trouble for people who, I mean, I don't know a single French word, and you throw me a French textbook. How am I supposed to understand something? That's because course books are supposed to be used in class with a teacher. But even if you don't get a teacher, even if you don't get a course, you don't want to do one, maybe you don't have time, whatever it is, you can still follow along the video series, because it's the entire course essentially boils down to the content in the course book, and it's great for the DELF exams as well. So yeah, and of course there's Italian, German, Russian. There's quite a bit of videos and stuff there. So I think it's a great question. I personally think, yeah, they should really focus on their own art history, achievements, etc. Because we have, for example, there's memes floating around about how the British Museum actually doesn't have much from Britain. They have a lot of sculptures and artifacts from Greece, from other places. So yeah. If I find the meme, I'll just upload it to the community tab. But yeah, it was a really funny one. So we start with an introduction first. I need to have a background statement and write something about art, about museums, something of that sort. So you have that, and then you'll have an opinion statement as well. This is the most basic kind of construction. I'm not saying this is the only way to write a good essay, but it's definitely up there because it's a pretty easy way to write a good essay, for being honest. And of course, it's the same thing that I teach, my own students as well. So I'm sure you'll find it pretty useful. All right. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna write my introduction, or maybe I'll just do my main ideas. That's what I always do, right? I kind of, it's been a while, so I've kind of become rusty. So I think it's good. Yeah, they should definitely do that. Local museums should be to educate locals, not foreigners. And that's the whole point, right? You go to a different country, for example, you hit up a museum. If you go to the Louvre, do you expect to see, for example, Chinese painters, sculptures, etc.? I mean, you're going there to, really experience the country. So that's the whole point, not just to educate locals, in fact, to educate people, anyone, even a foreigner who's visiting. So local music, oh, what is this? Seriously? Primary concern should be educate people about their country. They are in. It is important to maintain and preserve art and artifacts from one's own culture. This is really irritating. Anyway, sometimes I type and I don't even think. You can write artifacts, you can write artifacts, both are right. So what I'll do is I'll leave the spelling up here if you want, depends, whichever type you want to choose. Okay, you can choose whichever spell. The red line is because it's in a different format, so that's why. On some culture, okay, because it teaching, educating, right, and then of course preserving. Memory must not be forgotten. Memory, uphold. Future, research and things like that. Like, for example, you have cave paintings and sculptures and things of that sort, right? Now there's a lot of research that can be done on those things. So museum is not just a place you go to and you see a few things. Museums have a job to do. They need to preserve. They need to there's a reason why they often say you can't use cameras with flash, because the flash actually disintegrates. It's not just one, or one person took a picture. There's millions of people, millions of, there are cameras and the flash going off, and that light eventually deteriorates fabric and paint and, raw natural materials. That's the reason why they have a job. They have to preserve all these things. So, you have people in the future, 100 years from now, 200 years from now, you can still see that item. It's an important reminder of your history. Yeah, conserve, educate people, glorifying, for example. They have an important job, and then to teach people. Glorifying other cultures is not really important. Um, a platform as well, a platform for, local, national. I feel like my slash key is, well, now why is this a question mark? Anyway, okay. You know what? This could actually be right here. I think, okay, educate people. So uphold public memory of being wiped out. Preserve. I think this should be here. And then we have this one here. And this one can be number 2. I think it's better off like this. So you also have to rearrange your ideas, if necessary. This doesn't always have to be done, but it's always good to check. Yeah. I think this, for example, could actually be number 3. There we go. And then using, for example, public money to promote, that's another good point, but I don't know. I just need 3, so you don't really. I mean, it's a bit, where do I even fit that? It's a good idea using public money, but then where do I fit it? It's kind of pointless. I don't really need to do that, so I'm gonna write my introduction. First, I fix the font. Okay. Let me see. Museums, art galleries, artwork. Okay. Preservation of history. Not just human history, but all of history, right? Because you learn about animals and vegetation and all these things. So the preservation of history has largely been made possible due to the diligent work of museums and art galleries, without which a country would not be able to present and protect its heritage. Although, okay, it is precisely for this reason that it is crucial for countries to focus on presenting local and national art instead of foreign art. There you go. That's my introduction. Then I've got my 2 sentences. The sentence remains the same. Main ideas don't change. And then I've got all these ideas. So, local museums, or rather museums, I don't even need local. Primary concern should be to educate people of the country they are in. One important aspect of this is to, pass on information about the country, not just to, their own citizens, but also to foreigners who may be visiting and want to learn more about a country's past. Along with educating people, museums can also help to maintain and uphold public memory about the country's achievements, prehistoric and historic achievements, and, measure and track progress. How many words is this? I have my idea of this is already like something. Okay, right. Oh, the text is different. That shouldn't be the case. Right, that's there. Okay, let's make that bigger so you can read easily. There we go. Okay, and in any case, the idea of spending public money, because how are museums even funded? It's your taxes, it's your money, public money to preserve and glorify other cultures is unpalatable. Preserve and glorify other cultures and palatable. If local, historians and custodians and museum custodians focused on deviate their focus to and devote their time to other nations, it would no longer be possible to a good register of one's own country. And then, so thus, an ideal museum ought to, I've already used present, protect. I kind of have used present only once, so that's okay. Ought to present national works of art. Also cultivates a healthy amount of pride. Would not be possible to maintain a good own country. There we go. And the next one, it's important to okay, since I'm using yeah, I think I'll just increase the font size. There we go. Right, and so what's the next thing? Prevent tradition. I think this is the pressing. Okay, the most urgent need is to ensure that local traditions and art are not forgotten, wiped out, or left to decay, as in the case of old paintings, sculptures, even costumes, not really costumes, but clothing, which are rather sensitive and need special care. You need people who've done a lot of, you need scientists, you need museum custodians to work on all these things. When these items from history are carefully preserved, further research can easily be done on them as a way to learn even more about the country's past, which makes it even more important that they are preserved, they are taken care of, right? And then additionally, it is also okay. There's some kid yelling in the background. That's kind of irritating. I'm hoping they're gonna. Okay, well, that's irritating. Okay, so what's the last thing? It's more to take care of. Platform for local artists. Okay. Another concern. That needs to be addressed is the ability of local and national artists to find a platform to showcase their talents. If their own museums do not give them a chance, that would be quite a shame. As art is not just a thing of the past, but also of the current time, present time, and the future, and needs encouragement and investment. So therefore, if one's own culture is not preserved, it's not promoted and taken care of. Okay, well, I don't want to say taken care of. Maybe I can say promoted and upheld. Therefore, if it is important to maintain and preserve them. Museums need to one's own culture needs to be over all others. There we go. And there I have both my paragraphs. That was quick. Then I need to work on. They don't look like they're the same font size. That's a bit weird, but okay. Why do I think this? Anyway, so how much is this? Oops, that's a bit too much. Okay, not too bad. Ability of local artists, homegrown. Actually, that's a good word. Homegrown artists to find a platform, showcase their talents. It would be shameful if. It would be shameful. There we go. And that's how you can say the same thing but use fewer words. And finally, in conclusion, it is evident, it is clear, it is obvious. Local art and culture is of primary importance and should always be given. Museums and galleries. If we fail, conserve and promote. Oops, Conserve, you know, the beauty and grandeur. The beauty, grandeur, and maybe. It's not always grand, so maybe not the right word. But oops, that's weird. Okay, if you fail to conserve the beauty, or if you fail to conserve um, national, yeah, if you fail to conserve it, or you can even just, but you already have the noun, so why not use the pronoun? You know how it is. There's not much known about some countries because there's just not much, effort made on their side. But then you have a lot of info about other countries. So yeah. If we would, or let's say if let's think about how future future are to be knowing the history of their lands, they must have access to local history, art and culture. There we go. There we go. Oops, and there we go. Right, so how much is this? That's, oops, well, that's always the case with how I write. This is about 400 words. The idea is just to give you content, yeah? So here we've got the introduction, then we've got the next you can stop, you can pause the screen if you would like to read. Then we have the first paragraph. We've got the second paragraph. And finally, we have the conclusion. We have the ideas here as well. And there's also, we have Vocab Booster versions of these essays with exercises and stuff. I'm launching a book on the 22nd of December, most likely. It'll have all the essays I've written. It'll have vocabulary exercises. You have ideas and all of that as well. So yeah, just make sure to follow our Instagram and Facebook. If you're not a part of my email group, just make sure to sign up. It's there on my website, 877ielts.com. Yep. And I will see you next week with another essay. Wow, I can't believe it's only been 27 minutes since I've been that's very quick. Okay. But I hope that you learned something from this. I mean, this is just, me being able to write a whole essay that's like 400 words in like 27 minutes, and a lot of the time I spend talking to you. That should really give you hope that, as long as you keep working on something, you will only get better. You can never get worse. You can only get better and better and better. Yeah. All right. Well, I'll see you next week. And until then, take care and bye. And oh, by the way, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and like button.